Jay Thomas has literally done it all in show business. He has worked extensively in radio, been the star of his own television hit sitcom, and now stands on the verge of motion picture stardom as well.
From your mouth to God's ears,
right.
man.
Good pal. We're happy to welcome Jay to our program here at CBS. Thanks for coming over. You know, we always plug stuff before when you had the...
It's great. You've been wonderful to me for many, many, many,
and
many
you to
years.
me. But I want to talk to you about your life in New Orleans as a kid growing up down there.
Yeah.
You know, and the aspirations your folks had for their son, Jay Thomas.
I think my parents wanted me to probably be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Or a doctor or whatever, and I ended up being a 16-year-old strip show comic. So I don't know how happy they were with that. I told them that I was going to the... I've told the story before, but I'll tell it to you again. I had done stand-up comedy at my high school of Jesuit in New Orleans, and talent shows...
Are you a Catholic kid?
Yeah, people think I'm a Jewish guy from New York.
Yeah,
I am a Catholic from New Orleans, and I was born in Texas, Kermit, Texas. My dad's from Abilene. He's in oil business, moved to Louisiana. My mother's from Patterson, Louisiana. And this is a New Orleans accent. And my friend Eddie Herbert, who's here tonight, who owns the Lincoln Bay Cafe in Santa Monica. Thank you. I'm there a lot myself. If you go in,
we'll stop by. You could sign autographs for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You think that he is from Brooklyn or New Jersey or whatever. And it's a New Orleans accent that I think is probably a center city accent. It must be from the Italians.
I would never have guessed until I read your bio this afternoon that you're a Southern boy. Never.
And the Catholic thing, I was once given an award as a Jewish actor, and the woman called me from B'nai B'rith or whatever, and she was saying, "Come get the award." And I said, "I'm not available that night," or whatever. She says,
she says, "Do you know anybody else who would be available?"
No, and then I said, "And I'm not Jewish," and there was like a dead silence, like I was going to tell a joke. And I said, "No, ma'am, I'm not Jewish at all." And then she said, "You called me ma'am." I said, "Yeah, I'm from the South." And I can't, I could not stand up and accept this award without saying that, I wasn't Jewish. And I've learned a lot about being Jewish from being on television. And when I was in New York, I would go, these Heidi Chronicles that Wendy Wasserstein wrote. I did a play called Isn't It Romantic that Wendy Wasserstein wrote that may have been the beginning of that. And I played Murray Schlimbovitz, who had changed his name to, I think, Murray Silver or whatever. And then I wanted to go back to being a more Orthodox Jew. And, I've been through every Jewish ceremony there is on television, on the stage, and I'm a nice Catholic kid.
And
former Catholic.
And Jesuit.
Jesuit, greatest education.
Isn't it wonderful?
It is the greatest education.
No question. Same here. I had the same thing.
Yeah, and people say, well, why is that? It has nothing to do with the religion. It's just that they are the educators of the Catholic Church. They're dedicated to that. I believe you have to have a...
And did you write up on the upper corner AMDG?
Oh, you betcha.
Yeah, Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, for the greater honor and glory of God. And over here...
I didn't see anything new in college until I was a junior. And then I started failing. But, the first 2 years, I did great. But I was very happy for that. I started acting there. I started my comedy there. And
you tell a little story about what it means to be a comedian when the comic meets a very beautiful and attractive woman after he's done his evening of work. You know the one I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it's a true story.
And this is the definition of a comedian.
Yeah, well, someone said to me, when you were a kid and you were 16 and there were these naked women around, was it like showgirls? And I said, no, I never noticed them. I never noticed them. I didn't have sex early in my life. I didn't. And they say, well, why? There's a story about a comic who's in Boston, and a woman comes backstage, and she comes in and she closes the door and she says, oh, man, I've got to have you now. I saw you tonight, and you are the most incredible thing. And she begins to take her clothes off, and she says, I have to have you now. And the comic says, you saw me tonight, and this is your reaction? She says, yeah. And he says, was that the first set or the second set? Because, the first set, I was just trying some stuff. Now, the second set, I did the Eskimo thing. Was that? She's naked.
Yeah.
Now, someone said that's a joke, but I believe that to be true.
Yeah. Know it. I wrote it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you describe your early career as a comedian as kind of like the Piedmont Airlines of comedy. Were you everywhere?
Yeah, I started, of course, in New Orleans, and then I went to Panama City, Florida, where I'd play. I was in college, of course, and I tried to play baseball and football and everything else. But I would play places like the Shrimp Boat Lounge in Panama City, Florida. Then I went to Pensacola University, then Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was emceeing the Miss Nude North Carolina contest, and I wasn't getting any laughs. And I had just gotten engaged to a lovely girl from the area. And I invited her to the show. Of course, everybody's nude and taking their clothes off, so I wasn't getting any laughs. So I took all of my clothes off and got a tremendous laugh, I might add. And she left the engagement ring by a Canadian Club and 7-Up. I remember exactly what she was drinking. And I went back to the table, you know, with my underwear on, you know, and big laughs, and I'm going like that, and, you know, and you know, tweaking myself. And when I got back, there was my, like, you know, $3, you know, engagement ring next to this Canadian Club. But, you know, it's funny. She had downed the Canadian Club first and then put it down.
Leave the ring. Did you ever see her again?
I married her eventually.
Oh, you did?
We were married for an hour. I mean, it was like one of those, you know, first 30 minutes was great, and the next 30 minutes, you know, how do we get out of this?
Yeah, or the early part of our marriage was fine, but then we left the church.
And, you know, she was a delightful gal, and, you know, I just was driven to be something else other than married. And we were married literally a minute or two. It was horrible.
We'll be back on the air on radio with Jay Thomas at 800-952-2788. I say on radio because I want to talk to you about that medium. You and I share experiences in radio broadcasting,
I was in radio
which
for a long
we treasure
time.
greatly.
Yes.
We'll be right back after these announcements.